Welcome to the Real World. We are so glad you are here on the Real World YouTube channel, where we are all about cinema. We are huge fans of movies, and so we are glad to talk about all kinds of different films, new movies in theaters, streaming movies, movies on Blu-ray, DVD. I've got a huge collection behind me, you can see. And so we talk all things movies here, and we like to dive into how they're made and what they're all about. So we're happy on this episode to be talking about a topic we've never covered before, movies with a number in the title, and we'll explain why we're doing that in just a moment. But Bert is with me. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Cam. How you doing?
Doing well. Let's kick things off. All right, so thank you again for joining us here on the Real World YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified of all our videos. If you're a movie fan, this is the podcast for you. We are happy to talk about all kinds of different movies, new movies, old movies. Bert and I have quite different tastes in movies, and so you're going to get a wide array of different kinds of movies on this podcast, which I think is what makes it great. And so we're excited to talk about movies with a number in the title. We decided on this topic. We were originally going to do something different, but weren't really feeling that. And so we came up with this new topic, and it fits in really well, actually, with two movies that came out recently. So we were originally going to do zombie movies, and I'm sure we'll end up doing those eventually down the line, maybe, because 28 Years Later was out. But we thought, you know what? 28 is a number in a title. And there's a lot of movies with numbers in their titles. And actually, just this weekend, F1 is also in theaters. So another movie with a number in the title. And so it was kind of perfect timing to do this topic. And so we're going to cover all kinds of movies here because it's not just sci-fi movies. It's not just one particular genre that has numbers in the title. A lot of different kinds of movies have numbers in their titles. So we're going to cover a lot of different things here. It's going to be really interesting. Bert, what was your kind of battle plan going in? Because again, there's so many different kinds of movies with numbers in the title. I think I tried to come up with a list. I had like 100 movies with a number in the title that I've seen. So, what was your idea going in? Were you just looking at your favorite ones? Were you trying to look at it a little bit differently? What was your idea going in here?
I didn't go too crazy with it. I mean, basically just I compiled a list. Yeah, there are actually quite a few. We could probably do like a top 20 at least by the time I watched or figured out all the ones that I have seen
Yeah.
and did my homework. But yeah, I just rounded up the top ones, favorite to least favorite or whatnot. And
Okay.
hopefully you won't steal those along the way in our draft.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I had such a hard time with this idea. I had to come at it from a slightly different angle.
Oh,
So, what I ended up doing was grabbing my favorite movie with a number in the title from each genre.
oh,
So, as you
that's a
know,
good one.
my collection back here is now organized by genre. I've got 10
Yeah.
different genres on either of the side shelves here. And so I just kind of went through my collection, was like, oh, yep, that's my favorite of that one, and that's my favorite of that one. And so it's going to end up being 10 different genres on my list. But I think all of them are 5 stars. All of them are, I'm a huge fan of all of these movies. So
Nice,
that was just a
nice.
way I could whittle it down a little bit because it was getting overwhelming. So I needed to figure out a way to kind of get that top 10 locked in. And so that's what I ended up doing for this
Yeah, I
one.
think we should point out too, we're not talking about sequels. We're not talking about Airplane 2 or something like that.
Yes.
No,
That was the
just
one
because
rule
it's
we yeah, we put in place that one rule. We're like, no sequels. Spider-Man
yeah,
2 doesn't count. Spider-Man 3 doesn't
right.
count. Iron Man 2, all of them with just a number because it's the second movie. We
Hmm.
decided to kind of put those aside. And so,
Yeah, I also want to mention that the more we do these drafts, the more I feel like I'm preparing by watching movies, but I'm preparing less of my actual numbered list of how I'd want to draft them because I
mm,
found that in the moment, especially if you take a player or a movie ahead of me, if
right.
you will, then you have to kind of shoot from the hip a little bit. And sometimes in the moment, I'll think, well, I think this one actually serves me better. Might slide up or down a little more. So it's gonna be a little different. I have some sense of an order.
Sure.
I think you have the number one draft pick, and
Yes, I
that could
do.
be a big one.
Right.
But so yeah, a little more loosey goosey with it here today.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed this draft format we've been doing recently. So,
Yeah,
all right. Well, without further ado, are you ready to get started?
let's go.
All right, well, here it is, our top 10 draft for movies with a number in the title, excluding sequels. That's our one caveat here. So, um, yeah, this first pick, it's one of my favorite movies ever made. This is, I consider it in the crime genre. I guess most people probably just consider it a drama, but it's a film that I guess technically the subgenre would be a courtroom drama, and that is 12 Angry Men.
I
Um,
wondered.
12 Angry Men. I mean, this is one of my all-time favorite movies, just period. Even if we're not counting movies with a number in the title, as many of these are. Like I said, most of these are 5 stars. So this is one of my favorites. This came out in 1957, and it's just a great, as I mentioned, courtroom drama. It's not really though in a courtroom. It's in
Right.
the jury room, right? It's all the
Yeah,
jury
yeah.
deliberation. So slightly different take on the courtroom drama. But man, amazing performances. Henry Fonda leads the cast here. All 12 cast members are fantastic. Particularly Lee J. Cobb gives a great performance in this. Sidney Lumet directed this, and this is the first film he ever directed. And I think it's his best. I mean, went on to direct other movies that I liked, but this stands out to me as being the best. It's a single location movie, which I think are always interesting. You know, we're trapped in this one room
Yeah,
with this jury the whole time.
yeah.
And so that's always interesting when they can keep that engaging and interesting. That's a challenge, you know, and I think they definitely pull that off here. You know, it's simple, but it's riveting, and it's got some great moments, some memorable moments, great dialogue, of course. The script is excellent. So yeah, it's not a flashy movie, you know, because it's literally, like I said, one room, 12 actors the whole time, and they're just deliberating the fate of this young man who's on trial. And yeah, just from a writing standpoint, acting, directing. Another big thing about this movie is the blocking. A lot of people don't really think about this, but this is a key element of films like this that are dialogue driven, is where the actors are placed on screen. So in the frame, you'll have to figure out where you're going to place the actors and where they're going to move and how they're going to interact
Sure.
with each other. And all of that is such a key element to a movie like this. And I think it's just done brilliantly here. So blocking is great. Editing, of course, is really good. It comes in at just at 96 minutes. So it's a pretty quick runtime. It doesn't drag out very long, you know.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has good momentum to it, and you know, great music. And ultimately, the reason I like this movie, it had such a big impact on me because of the themes they're dealing with, of themes of life and death, themes obviously of justice and judgment. Prejudice is a huge theme as well, and truth. That's really what the movie boils down to, is those essential elements that they're trying to communicate to the audience through these characters and their interactions. So 12 Angry Men definitely had to make it somewhere, and I ended up putting it at number one because, again, it's just one of my all-time favorite movies.
And I watched it for the first time a year or two ago. It was
Right,
brought into our podcast, and
right.
there's some good performances. The problem is I've seen so many courtroom dramas that have done basically copied this one that
Sure,
I think
sure.
any surprise that I would have had I watched it back when it came out
Right,
was kind of gone. So unfortunately,
sure.
it was kind of predictable. But it's not really fair because if I would have seen this movie 50 years ago or whenever it came out,
Right, right.
it probably would have been excellent. So it was a little hard to judge this one. You know?
Yeah, I can see that, especially if you've seen a lot of these kinds of movies. Yeah, I
Hmm.
could definitely see why you wouldn't be as over the moon about it as someone who maybe is just getting introduced to this type of movie. I think it's kind of a perfect entry level film for getting into the courtroom dramas of the, you know, Few
Sure.
Good Men and all those, you know, great ones that came later. It's a good one to start out with. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. And I'd be happy to get your thoughts on it. We want to get your thoughts on all these movies, so make sure you leave a comment down below as we're discussing them. Okay, well, that's my number one. Bert, we're now on to your number one draft pick. What do you got?
Before I get onto that,
Yeah.
that made me think of a film that I totally forgot about for this podcast, and
Hmm.
that's another courtroom drama from last year that was really good, which was Juror Number Two.
Oh,
I completely,
yes.
I didn't come across it at all in my research. I can't believe I didn't.
Interesting. You know, I don't think I did either. That's a great point. That was like my favorite movie last year, and I for some reason didn't remember that it had a number in the title. Like I said, there's
Yeah,
so many of these. It's like we'll probably remember a few as we go through this list.
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
All
So
right. What do you
for
got?
number one, we said no sequels, but really what we mean is we're not going to say a part two of a film necessarily.
Right.
That just because it's part two or part three, that doesn't make it part of our group. However,
Yes.
I do have an exception because this film just happens to be a sequel, but it has the number two in the title, but it's not because it's a sequel. It's not part two, and
Right.
that is about Two Towers in
Oh,
the
I
Lord
thought
of
you
the
were going with
Rings.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
No, no, not a huge fan of that franchise. So no, so
So
number
Two
one, I've got
Towers.
the
Excellent
Two
choice.
Towers. Yeah, 5-star film for me, and we've done.
Yeah.
I think we did a Lord of the Rings podcast, didn't
We
we?
did. We did. Yep.
And what can I say? Just every element of filmmaking is on display, in perfect form here, and one of the greatest experiences in the cinema, and
Mhm.
just the epic quality of it. I mean, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. So it's a little weird because it is a number two film, but it's about the Two Towers.
Right,
So I want to
right.
make it clear that's kind of where coming from. But
It's a
yeah,
nice
just
coincidence,
it
the,
is, it
the
is,
second
yeah.
part and it has two in the title. It's
Yeah,
kind of
if only I
funny.
drafted it too, that would have been even better, maybe.
Right.
But yeah, I had to go with the Two Towers.
Yeah, it's such a classic film at this point. It's so perfect as that middle chapter of that trilogy, which is
Yeah,
really all one story, right? I mean, it's all kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
one big
yeah.
movie in a way, but
Right, right.
yeah, it's a great choice because it's actually my favorite of the three.
And it's
I think
probably my least favorite, but
really,
only just barely under the others. It's not
yeah,
like it takes a huge leap down. It's just that I love the we talked about it, the
sure.
sort of the innocence of the first one,
Yes.
and then the epic battles that close out
Right.
the third one. But
I get it. I get it.
yeah,
Yeah, go check out our Middle Earth podcast. We talk about all the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy, and War of the Rohirrim, which is the anime film that came out last year. So yeah, that was a fun podcast. Go check that out. All right, let's move on now to my number two. This is another classic from the 1950s, which is it might be the most influential movie ever made, and that is Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai.
oh, I've
Seven
seen that one.
Samurai. Yeah, this is an all-time classic movie. Kurosawa just master storyteller. I mean, he's so influential on guys like Lucas and Spielberg and Scorsese and all those guys that came up kind of in the 70s and 80s. He had a big influence on their careers, and it's
Hmm.
his most epic tale. It's a 3.5 hour um, epic action film, and it's, of course, called Seven Samurai because it's about these seven samurai who join forces to defend a small village from bandits. And so that's kind of the
Yeah,
premise that has been retold over and over again in so many different movies from, of course, The Magnificent Seven, which is a direct remake of this set in the Old West. But even movies like Three Amigos, movies like Galaxy Quest, take a lot from this kind of idea of this ragtag group that has to come together. A Bug's Life is another one. This kind of story has been told many, many times again, over and over again throughout
yeah,
history. But this is to me still the best because it's just so raw and visceral. It has this really dirty quality to it. There's this epic. It all builds to this epic battle at the end, and it starts raining, and they're all in the mud, and
hmm,
there's stunts with horses and sword fights that's just so dangerous looking that it just kind of
yeah,
puts you on the edge of your seat and go, wow, this is pre CGI days. How are they pulling this off? They're just really doing it. These stunt guys are really putting themselves at risk and doing all this crazy stuff. So huge fan of the action, huge fan of the characters. Each character, all seven characters are very distinct, and you get to know each of them. They all have their own motivations for wanting to do this. Some of them it's money, some of them it's they want to become an honorable samurai, all these different kinds of reasons for doing this. And so that's what makes it really intriguing and what makes it worthy of the 3.5 hour runtime is you're trying to get to know all these characters as you go through the story. And yeah, it's just brilliantly shot. Constant motion. There's constantly something moving. Even in the still moments, there's wind blowing. Or Akira Kurosawa always uses weather in all of his movies to great effect, and he does that here again. And so, yeah, it's just expertly shot, edited. The acting is great. The direction, the score is also wonderful. And like I mentioned, the stunt work is really just kind of mind blowing when you realize how long ago they made this. And it was kind of before there was like an action movie, really. You know,
Yep.
there were movies with action in them, but not quite like this on this scale, you know? And so it's like I said, it's such an influential movie. It's one of my favorites. I've watched it numerous times, and so I had to make the list. So it came in at number two.
Nice. Yeah, I liked it. I need to get a four. Is that a 4K version?
It's
Is there a
not,
4K?
they did recently release a 4K though
Oh,
on Criterion, so you should pick it
okay.
up. It's great.
Yeah. What was that? What didn't Keanu Reeves do a samurai film? I was thinking the other day about that one. I've never
47
seen it.
Ronin. Yeah.
Oh yeah, was that any
Yeah.
good?
It's worth watching. I just don't feel it's not
Okay.
up to the level of his other films. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? It's
Huh. Yeah.
visually really nice, but it's not a great movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Bert, we're on to your number two now. What do you got there?
Got a spicy one here. I got
Okay.
300.
Oh, yes, of course. Zack Snyder's 300. Awesome pick.
Yes. Yes. When I feel like this is when Zack Snyder really came onto the scene, and I'd seen the zombie film that he made, um, and I thought it was pretty good, but that wasn't sort of a revolutionary visually,
Sure,
type of film.
sure.
And boy, this one really is though, and just the dreamy backgrounds.
Mm,
We get all these sort of burgeoning stars.
right.
That would later go on to be in many of our favorite films of the year
Yes,
and that
yes.
kind of thing. But man, the way the action is portrayed and the story a bit disturbing.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is the birth of the Spartan kick too, right? I mean, I don't think
Right.
that's from this film, right?
Yes.
And yeah, Gerard Butler becomes a huge star as a result of
Yeah,
this film.
right.
But yeah, I mean, I think this film might even be my top 15 of all time.
Oh,
It's
wow.
it's yeah, just a great film.
Yeah, it is excellent. It was definitely groundbreaking, you know, with the effects. I mean,
Yeah,
no one had
yeah,
ever shot a fully CGI film before.
yeah, yeah.
And it was definitely
CGI backgrounds at least.
right, exactly, exactly. Yeah, live actors, CGI backgrounds, minimal sets. You know, I mean, it's like
Yeah,
a lot of CGI work, but he did that because he wanted this comic book. It's based on a comic. Of course, it's a true
yeah,
story from history, but it's based on a comic book by Frank Miller
yeah,
that he's adapting, and he really, I mean, almost frame for frame captured the
yeah.
art from that comic book, which is really amazing.
Right.
And he made it so cinematic and interesting to watch. And yeah, the zoom ins and the slow-mo and
The
like all that
slow-mo.
iconic stuff
Yeah.
that has been copied so many times. It's another very influential movie
Yeah.
for cinematic history, especially modern action filmmaking. So
Yeah,
excellent
the
choice.
stunt choreography in that one too is pretty incredible. There's some really
Yeah.
great scenes, and I love slow-mo. I think some people hate it, but I mean it just fully takes advantage of some just great slow-mo shots.
Yes, I agree completely. Excellent choice. Great. All right. Well, I've got my crime movie. I've got my action movie with Seven Samurai. Now I'm going for a biopic, a film based on a true story,
Oh.
and that is an ancient true story. That is the Ten Commandments. The life of Moses is depicted in this film. And this is another one of my all-time favorites. I've talked about it numerous times. I've got this gigantic box set here on Blu-ray.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool box set. I'll have to do an unboxing one day. I actually might have already done one. I can't remember, but it's a great film. It's one of these, another one from the 50s. All my films so far from the 1950s. 56. This came out. Cecil B. DeMille directed it. And he was known for these lavish productions. He had just done The Greatest Show on Earth, which was all about the Ringling Brothers Circus. And that's a big movie, 2.5 hour production. And this is almost a 4 hour movie. And, you know, it's the definition of the biblical epic that they, you know, were popularizing around that 50s, 60s era.
Yeah.
And it stays true to the text of the scriptures that we read of Moses' life. And you know, it even references directly the scriptures in the opening titles. And you know, Cecil B. DeMille himself comes out and kind of introduces the movie. It's very odd, but it's very reverent. You know, there's a lot of reverence you can tell for the story that they're retelling from, you know, the Holy Bible. So it's really cool the way they do it. The elaborate sets, I mean, are really just breathtaking. I mean, the craft that went into building these sets and the costumes and the hair and makeup and the just the overall production design is really, really amazing to behold. Movies on this scale really aren't made anymore. I guess Nolan would
Yeah.
probably be one of the only guys who makes movies that are this big. anymore. But
It'd be
yeah,
all fake. It'd be all CGI nowadays.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It's all CGI nowadays, and back then it's like, no, we have to actually cast hundreds of extras to set them up in front of the camera and make the shot work, you know? So it's
Yeah.
really, really amazing, kind of the coordination that had to go into it and all the effort that went into movies like this. It was groundbreaking with the effects, though. You know, what I mean, this is again well before CGI, but they're doing all kinds of optical effects and miniatures and all kinds of different methods to make these incredible miracles come to life on screen. I mean, the parting of the Red Sea is still an iconic movie moment. It still holds up really well when you watch that scene. So it's pretty amazing. The technicians and the artists that were behind this, they really put a lot of effort into it. Of course, the story is all about slavery and freedom and mercy and judgment and God's faithfulness. So it's one that resonates with me a lot, and it's I think one of the best films of that decade. So yeah, another 5-star movie for me, and yeah, had to make the list. So it's in there at number 3.
You know, I've never seen that movie.
Have you really? Oh
No,
wow.
no. I watched Ben-Hur
Oh sure.
because of the podcast, and I
Yeah.
enjoyed that one. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
But I really need to watch this one too.
You
I've
should. We
never
watch it every
seen
year
it.
for Easter, just because it's the one
Yeah,
the whole family can sit down and watch. You
yeah.
know, it's you don't have to
Hmm.
worry about any, things for the kids that they can't see. You know, so
Yeah.
yeah, our whole family really likes it. Even the young ones, they quite enjoy the because there's a lot of animals in it and a lot of just again big effects and big. It's a big production, so it's something everyone can enjoy.
How faithful is it to like the Bible? Is it
It
100%,
It's not
80%?
it's not 100%. It's
Okay.
there's really the story of Moses in the scripture is not very long. I mean, it really only covers his birth and then jumps to him older and he leaves Egypt and he comes back and then the plagues and all that. And so it fills in some gaps. So it does take certain
Oh,
liberties
okay.
with
Okay.
his upbringing and how he was, a lot like Prince
Yeah.
of Egypt. You've seen Prince of Egypt, right?
No,
Oh, you
no,
haven't seen that either. Okay. So
no.
Prince of Egypt is the animated one that's a lot shorter, kind of
Oh,
condenses it a lot more, but it's another great movie. But yeah, they kind of cover more of, what was it like for him growing up in Egypt as a Hebrew and
okay.
him not knowing that and, then learning of his true lineage and all that. So it's stuff that's
Interesting.
not really, the scripture doesn't really cover, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
there, it's implied. And so
Right.
they don't go too far and like off the reservation like some biblical adaptations do and just kind of go
The
crazy
Noah
with stuff.
movie.
Right, exactly. So no, it's still very reverent to what the scriptures say, but it does take certain liberties with sort of the parts in between his life that we don't get to see there.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
all right, so that was my number 3. Now, Bert, we're on to your number 3. What do you have there?
I am taking The Sixth Sense.
Yes, I knew you would have this. I didn't even bother picking it because I'm like, Bert's gonna have that really high. I'm not even gonna worry about it. So, yeah, Sixth Sense, great choice.
The most probably the most impactful film I ever watched in the theater. Came out of there just like my head was spinning. I'm like, what just happened? Because
Right.
I watched an excellent drama, and then on top of that, you
Mm,
know how when there's a huge surprise ending, sometimes it doesn't always work, and you're like, oh, I didn't want that to be the thing.
right,
But
right.
here it worked just better than any film I've ever seen.
Mm,
It also we think it's the first film where a character was dead the whole time and you didn't know it.
right.
And so that kind of introduced that, which
Yes.
several films have copied.
Yeah.
A Beautiful Mind to great effect as well.
Yes. Yes.
And Bruce Willis probably one of his best roles.
Oh
He's
yeah.
kind of reserved in it, but it just fantastic. Haley Joel Osment, I still think he's one of the best child actors ever.
Yep.
And shot well, looks great.
Hmm.
But yeah, just a pretty powerful film watching experience. And so that's what I got.
Yeah, it's a great choice. On my recent rewatch of that, Toni Collette stood out to me a
He's good
lot.
too.
She is
Yeah.
just phenomenal in that movie. I mean,
Yeah.
really, really great performance. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's M. Night sort of at the top of his game, right? I mean, I think
Yeah.
that and doing that and Unbreakable, those are, I think, probably my two favorite of his. And then Signs, I think he followed up right after
Yes.
Unbreakable. So,
Love
a great
signs.
run of movies he had
Yeah.
there. And yeah, Sixth Sense is the one that kicked it off. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely worthy of high praise. Great choice. All right. Now we're moving on to my number 4, and this is my Western. So I'm a huge Western fan. This was really hard. There's a lot of great Westerns with numbers in the title. Two Mules for Sister Sarah is one of my favorites. Winchester 73, 40 Guns. I already mentioned The Magnificent Seven, I think is a great sort of remake. But I ended up going with 310 to Yuma. And I did go with the remake, actually. I think this is maybe surpassed the original in my mind. After this recent rewatch, I listened to the commentary with James Mangold, who, as you know, is one of my favorite directors working today. And he sort of just went deep into, why he wanted to remake it and what he wanted to enhance about the original. And I think he pulled it off. Um, Russell Crowe, Christian Bale, I mean, two all-star actors, again, just like knocking it out of the park, powerhouse performances from both of them. They're excellent together in every scene. And Bale's character, Dan Evans, is the one who really benefits from this remake. He's given a lot more backstory.
Yeah.
You really get his motivation a lot more. Logan Lerman plays his son, and their relationship is great. It's really the central relationship of the film, and it's interesting how we talked about how this father and son have this relationship, and then Russell Crowe's character, Ben Wade, the
Yeah.
villain, kind of has a relationship with Ben Foster's character, who's sort of like his
Yeah.
sidekick.
Love that.
And
Yeah.
it's sort of that father-son dynamic throughout and how they kind of switch. And it's really interesting. It's just a fascinating film, so well written, developed beautifully. The cinematography is great. The music is really, really good here. Supporting cast, Alan Tudyk, Peter Fonda, Luke Wilson, just a great slew of actors there. And so the movie it has everything you could want in a Western. Great characters, great story, but great action too. There's that great wagon heist at the beginning of the movie, and then the huge shootout at the end of the film is just riveting from beginning to end. So, huge fan of this movie. It's got that ticking clock idea, as the title
Yeah. Yeah.
suggests. It's called that because they have to make it to this train in a certain amount of time, and
Yeah.
so it's
Brilliant.
got that whole element to it. It builds really nicely to that final sequence. And so, yeah, it again, it's a 5-star movie. The original, I think, it's still so good, but yeah, on this recent rewatch, I think this remake is one of the few that is superior to the original.
Yeah, and I do like this newer one better. Big surprise. I know I actually like the newer films better, but I did like the older one though. It's very
Yeah.
good. But I just love how the character of Ben Wade, played by Russell Crowe, he's the bad guy or whatnot, but he's very complex, and over
Yes.
time you start to feel like I really like this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, they do a great
He's got
job.
some good in him, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
even Christian Bale's character, like you kind of don't like him at certain moments. Like so it's like it's an
Yeah.
interesting
Great
juxtaposition, and
script. Yeah.
yeah, it's a really great script, so well written.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Good
that had
one.
to make the cut. All right, Bert, you're at your number 4 now. What's there?
Okay, I'm going horror now, Anya. I'm
Mm.
gonna go with a film called Session 9.
Oh, I think you've talked about this, but I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's a psychological horror film and came out in 2001. David Caruso is the
Okay.
star. Some people don't like him too much, but this is right when he was getting into movies and was still fairly famous. And it's about a cleanup crew that go into a real abandoned mental hospital to clean up some asbestos.
Okay.
The interesting thing is that it's almost all shot during the day, and
Oh,
there aren't too many horror films that have very little night scenes, you know.
yeah, yeah.
But yet it's still very creepy and effective,
Okay.
and it kind of plays with your mind a lot throughout it because you're trying to figure out which way it's going,
Yeah.
and it has a really great twist.
Mm.
Um, and so I really hope you get a chance to see it. It's kind of
Yeah.
hard to find, honestly.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know where it's streaming right now,
Mm.
but just a very well made, low budget psychological horror.
Nice. Yeah, that's definitely on my watch list. I'll make sure to keep an eye out for it. Let's check it out sometime soon. All right, jumping on to my number 5. It is my sci-fi pick. So sci-fi was the hardest for me because there's so many great sci-fi movies with a number in the title. District 9, 10 Cloverfield Lane. I mean, there's just the list
Yep.
goes on and on. And so I had to go with the one that to me had the biggest impact on me when I saw it, and that's Godzilla minus one.
Mm.
It's a recent movie, but man, this movie just to me is everything that a Godzilla movie should be. It's the best Godzilla movie in my opinion. It's probably the best kaiju monster film of all time.
Wow.
I truly think because it's all about humanity, right? I mean, ultimately, it comes down to this story about this family, is really what it's all about. And Godzilla is sort of the plot, or he's the representing obviously the atomic age as he originally did in the 1954 film when he was first debuted. But man, it's such a great movie. It's such a great script, so well acted, directed. The effects put Hollywood to shame because this is only a $12 million budget, and you've
Wow.
got like $200 million movies that don't look nearly this good. It's pretty
Hmm.
amazing what they're able to accomplish with this film. And so yeah, it's a foreign film, and it's a one that crossed over though. I mean, here in the United States, it became a huge sensation as well,
I remember that.
just
Yeah.
because of the storytelling was so good. We've got our reaction on the channel. If you want to go check it out, I think it's still our most watched video is our reaction to Godzilla Minus One. We also reacted
Yeah.
to it winning the Oscar for Best Visual Effects.
Oh, I remember
That's
that too.
another big video on our channel. So means a lot to me personally, just because of the story, but also because it kind of helped grow our channel a lot in a way.
Yeah.
But again, it's the movie itself that just does such a great job. The whole idea of the minus one title is World War II, the atomic bomb dropped. It took Japan back to zero. And now Godzilla shows up right after that and takes them even further back to minus
Oh,
one. That's
wow.
why it's called Godzilla Minus One. But yeah, great film. I can't wait to see what this director does next. This is his first film. He's a visual effects guy, and so I'm so excited to see where he ends up going with his career. But yeah, it's a great story about life and living, and the whole idea behind it is he's the kamikaze pilot who feels a lot of guilt because he didn't go through with his
Oh.
suicide mission, and so it's
Oh.
it's the whole story is kind of like death is easy, life is hard, but life is worth living. It's kind of the whole idea behind the film, and it's just great, just a beautiful story, really well done, really well made. So that made the cut.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that one. I need to
Oh, really? Oh, I
I
forgot you
kind of
hadn't
forgot to
seen it
circle
yet.
back on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great film. I think you'll really like it. All right, Bert, what is your number? What do we got? Five.
Okay. I'm gonna try to round mine out a little bit, and I'm going with comedy time travel, and
Oh,
that is 17 again, starring Zac Efron.
okay. All right.
Watched this
Nice.
again the other day. I've seen this a few times. This
Okay.
one competes with. I thought about putting 13 going on 30 in because I love that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, me too.
But this one, I watched them both, and this one I actually like more this time.
Okay.
Zac Efron is pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
I've actually seen a couple of the other of his films recently too, and he can carry a film. He really
Oh
can.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And this is great because yeah, he wants to he basically relives high school. He goes back to high school,
Right.
but he's got all of his memories from the first time around, and
Right.
yeah, and so it's great, one of those kind, and it's just a great plot and great script. There's shades of Back to the Future when
Sure.
he's at one point he's flirting with his much older wife because she doesn't know it's him, but she thinks it's a member of the family, but then he starts flirting with her, stuff like
Right.
that, and he trains his son because his son's also in high school at the same time he's going back to it,
Right.
and he trains his son in basketball. And
Yeah.
so some of the same stuff that Marty McFly kind of does, but it's just really great. I laughed so much and really got into it this time. So that's what I'm throwing in there.
Okay, I like it. I like that movie too. I've only seen it once, but yeah, it was one my wife introduced me to. It's one of her favorites. Yeah, around the same time I think I saw 13 Going on 30. She showed me that one as well. And so yeah, those are both good ones that stand out in my mind. Isn't Matthew Perry the older version
Yes,
of
yeah,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
funny in it too. He's only got a couple scenes, but he's funny too,
Yeah, yeah,
as always.
he's good.
As he
Yeah,
always
he
was.
he wasn't in enough stuff. I wish he would have been in more before he
Yeah,
untimely passed away recently.
yeah.
But yeah, 17 again. That's definitely one I remember fondly. I'll have to revisit that one soon. Good choice. Now we're moving on to my number six, which is a fantasy film. Big fan of the fantasy genre. And this was tough too, but one stood out as being a personal favorite, a family favorite, and that is Kubo and the Two Strings.
Oh,
This is a stop motion animated film from
oh,
2016, produced by Leica. So this is a company behind Coraline and Paranorman, and they've done some pretty popular stop motion animated films over the past couple decades. And Travis Knight directed this. He's gone on to do Bumblebee. which is my
Oh,
favorite Transformers movie. And so
yeah.
he's good director. And this is just the most intricate, um, stunning stop motion film I've ever seen. It is
Wow.
truly amazing what they pulled off here. I don't understand how they did some of it. It's really just a marvel as far as just what they were able to accomplish with the characters and the action and the environments and on all of it. It's just really a breathtaking film visually. But it's also got a great story. It's a story about grief and loss. It's about this boy and his parents, and it's really, really beautifully told. The story is just so emotional and interesting and engaging, very character centric, but also about a lot of different kind of mythology. It's very much steeped in kind of Eastern mythology. Um, so it's sort of that mythological hero's journey that Kubo goes on throughout the film, but it's very much directly tied into his relationship with his mother and his father. And so it's a great movie, great voice acting. You got both Charlize Theron and Matthew McConaughey in there. George Takei shows up as in a
So
role
it's
as
not a foreign
well.
film?
It's not a foreign film. No, no. It
Oh,
looks
oh,
it. Like I said, it's kind of all Japanese sort of setting,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
no, it's an American-made film. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Leica is an American studio that produced this, and the director, I guess, he's just really into kind of anime and Japanese culture and that kind of thing. So it's kind of
yeah.
all steeped in that sort of aesthetic. Music here also. I mean, if you can just find the soundtrack, I would listen to the soundtrack all day. It's a
Oh,
beautiful score. As it says in the title, Kubo and the Two Strings, it refers to this instrument he plays. It's a stringed instrument, and a lot of
okay.
just beautiful, beautiful music in it. So yeah, it's just a truly fantastic looking film. Sounds great. The sound effects are really good in it as well. Sound design overall is really good. And yeah, a lot of people haven't watched it. I'm guessing you have not
I have
seen
not.
this.
No.
Yeah, it's definitely underrated. Kind of went under the radar when it
Yeah.
came out. And man, I
I
think it's
thought,
their best film. I've seen all their
oh,
films, and I think it's their best one.
wow. I always thought that film was a foreign film, and I'll watch a foreign film, but you got to encourage me to. I'm like, I don't love reading while I'm watching a movie,
Sure.
but I might have checked that one out then. I love stop motion animation. Would you put it
Yeah.
even above Del Toro's Pinocchio?
It's right there. To me,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
right there with it. It's right there with it.
Hmm.
Those are two probably my two favorite stop motion animated films. And there's a lot of good
Yeah.
ones I like a lot. Coraline, I think, is fantastic, but Kubo edges it out for me. I think because of the action and the sort of mythology and the more fantastical adventure type of a story that I'm more
Yeah.
into.
I gotcha.
It really just they do a great job with this movie. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. The family can watch it too. I mean, it's a PG.
Okay.
There's a couple of
Okay.
scenes that are a little scary, but
Yeah.
it's PG. I mean, it's nothing
Okay.
crazy. So yeah, our whole
Yeah.
family
Yeah.
likes this one a lot.
Nice.
All right, Bert, we're on to your number six.
All right. I'm going with a biopic myself, a
Hmm.
biopic of several people in
Oh.
one movie, which is Apollo 13.
Ah, yes. Ron Howard. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, one of Ron Howard's best, and um, is achieving what they did at the time this came out too. The
Mm,
CGI looks terrific.
yeah.
Um, it even fooled the actual astronauts. They asked how Ron Howard had gotten the shot of from above of the space shuttle going up,
Oh,
or whatever they
yeah.
called it back then.
Yeah.
And he said, well, we didn't actually do that. It was all computers, computer generated.
Amazing.
And yeah, just great, well told, great
Mhm.
pacing, great script. It's funny at times, reacting to the madness that they're going through.
Right.
And the fact that they used a real airplane and went up and then did a
Yeah.
nosedive and were literally free falling and doing
Right.
scenes in anti-gravity. Is that
Yeah.
it? Zero gravity?
Zero gravity. Yeah. 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 Right.
Doing those for real,
Yeah.
that's so much authenticity to that
Right.
kind of filmmaking,
Yes.
along the lines of some of the best, like Cameron and
Hmm.
others. And great music,
Hmm.
and obviously some terrific acting. Some of the best actors that have ever come along
Right.
are all in this movie. So, great story. And I think I mentioned this before, but If you ever get the Blu-ray, it's got the
Mhm.
original astronaut Lovell, Jim Lovell,
Yeah, yeah,
and his wife. They're on one of the commentaries,
yeah. That's
and they
right.
comment on the film. It's so cool. Very
That
few
is
films have ever
really
done
cool.
that, but
Yeah,
yeah, so it's wonderful.
excellent. Yeah, great film. Great film. I really like that movie too. Um, I want to watch it again. I've only seen it a couple times, and yeah, like you said, I mean, Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, Gary Sinise, like so many great
Ed
performers.
Harris,
Ed
yeah,
Harris, right? Exactly. Yeah, great film. Ron Howard really is one of the best, and so we've
yeah,
actually done a podcast on him before, so check that out. One I considered was 13 Lives, which is another Ron Howard
yeah.
movie
It's on my list.
that I
Yeah,
really
sure.
liked. I really liked
Yeah,
that.
that
We
was
were
good.
actually watching a little bit of it last night,
Oh,
and so yeah, it's a good one.
yeah.
All right, excellent. Well, now we're moving on to my number seven, and this is my drama. Um, Drama
Okay.
encompasses so many, so many movies that can be called a
Yeah.
drama. And so this is a war drama, and it is called 1917.
Oh,
Um, Man, this movie came out just a few years ago, back in 2019, and it won all kinds of awards. Sam Mendes, phenomenal director, did a couple of the Bond movies, did Road to Perdition, and so many great movies that I like. And this is a very personal film for him because it's um, about his grandfather who served in World War One in
hmm.
1917, hence the year. And so it's loosely based on stories that he heard from his grandfather. It's kind of an amalgamation of
Oh,
different
that's
things that he
cool.
heard from him. So yeah, it's a very personal movie about, again, another ticking clock film, which I always enjoy when you're kind of building to, you have to make it to this point in this amount of time, or else, something bad's
Yeah.
going to happen. So these two young soldiers have to kind of cross long distance to get to this specific point in time to stop this battle because it's a
Oh,
big ambush, and so
oh,
they kind of go on this journey together. And what's amazing about this one, you haven't seen it?
no, no.
Okay,
I don't love war films because they're so like they're so
heavy.
realistic sometimes that
Yeah,
yeah, it's hard sometimes to sit through them.
I get it. I get it. This one is certainly. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a brutal war movie. It is, but it's under 2 hours, so it doesn't take a
Yeah.
long time to watch like a lot of war movies do. It's under 2 hours, and the entire film was designed to look like one long take. So the
I
camera
heard
never
about it
looks
that
like it cuts, right? So
the entire
obviously
movie?
the entire movie, the entire hour and 59 minutes. It never
Wow.
you never see a cut. I mean, obviously they did when they shot
Wow.
it, but they've edited it
They cheat a
together.
little bit. Yeah.
Right. They've used computer generated imagery and other things to digitally splice the film together so
Yeah.
it all looks like one long take. So literally you
Wow.
start with the characters sitting under this tree, they get their orders and you follow them and you just walk with them all the way through
So
them.
it's a real-time film. It's
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 a
a
real-time
2 hour.
film. They cheat a
That's
little bit
cool.
in one scene where they get knocked out
Oh.
and so they wake
Oh,
up and it's a
okay.
couple hours later, that kind of thing. But
Still.
yeah,
That's
it's
neat.
it's
That's neat.
extremely impressive. It
Huh.
is one of the most impressive looking movies just for that reason that I've ever seen. Very few films have tried this. I know Alfred Hitchcock did it with one of his movies. And then a couple of other people have tried it, but it's so difficult to pull off. People just don't
Yeah.
bother. But yeah,
There's a Johnny Depp movie that's called, I think
oh,
it's called 95 Minutes or something like that. I don't know,
oh,
but
okay.
anyway, something about
Interesting.
time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is shot by Roger Deakins, who shot a lot of
Oh,
Sam Mendes's films. He's one of the greatest cinematographers of the modern era. And yeah, we just follow these two characters on this journey, and it is just so engaging, exciting, and it does have moments of levity in it as well. Certainly some harrowing drama in there though too, and some intense battles, and it's very frank. It's very just straightforward. It doesn't pull any punches, but it's just so well told. It's just so well done. It's seamless. The visual effects are like I said, they're just you can't tell, what they're doing here. That certain things in the background are fake or whatever. Watching behind the scenes on this is really mind blowing when you see the way they pulled some of this off. So yeah, invisible visual effects as they always should be, and they just help you get lost in the story. It's not one of those where it's showing off. It's not flashy. about
Yeah,
its,
yeah.
effects and everything. It's just helping you tell this very focused story about this incredible journey that these characters take. So yeah, I would put it up as one of my favorite war movies of all time.
Hmm.
Again, just because of how focused in it is. I like big ones like Saving Private Ryan, where there's a bunch of characters and big battles
Yeah,
and things
yeah.
like that. There's not really a whole lot of big battle sequences here. It's just these two characters kind of trying to.
Oh,
They're kind of trying to. It's almost like a stealth mission, really. They're trying to like sneak their way through enemy territory to get to their friends, and so
yeah.
it's a different kind of war movie for sure, as far as just the whole look and feel of it, but also the story. And so, yeah, well worth watching. I mean, like I said, definitely one of my favorites. So yeah, that made the cut.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put that higher on my list. I definitely want to see that.
Yeah.
I've seen some really great war movies. I mean,
Hmm.
Glory. I saw
Sure.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Yep.
Like some of them. I mean, I enjoy the movie when I'm watching it.
Right.
It's just sometimes it's hard to go back to that because some
Yeah.
of those movies, the entire time, your gut is just like, oh, you kind of,
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's almost painful, but a
Right.
great movie too.
Sure. Yeah. There's several movies like that. Several. I don't own a whole lot of those. It's like they don't sit because I just don't pull them off the shelf a lot. But some like Saving Private Ryan, I just feel like you have to own that movie because it is one that I'll watch probably once a year, maybe.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But
Hmm.
1917 is much the same. And 1917, I think, is maybe a little bit easier to swallow. It's not so graphic and so intense. Like that opening scene of Saving Private Ryan. I watched that. I'm like, okay, I need to take a breather. Let me pause for a minute and
Yeah,
go
yeah.
go take a break. But yeah, 1917 is great because it's streamlined. They streamline the whole thing of that. It's a shorter runtime and you just go with it. So, anyways, all right, let's move on to Bert's number seven. What do you got?
Great. So I'm going to go with, we talked about this film when we did aviation films, and I'm going with 7,500.
Oh, yes. Great one. Yeah, that was one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt probably gives the performance of his career
Yeah.
here. And it's a very small film. We talked about how, uh, you know, single location pretty much. And
Yes.
not only that, but maybe the smallest space occupied for an entire film,
Yeah.
maybe pretty much ever,
Right.
because he's the pilot and they're essentially have to stay in the cockpit the entire
Right.
movie, but boy, is it intense.
It is.
And I won't give anything away, but just the way they pulled off keeping you so entertained for 90
Hmm.
minutes,
Hmm. Hmm.
and the acting that's involved here. Now, speaking of kind of realistic and tough to sit through, it is a bit tough to sit through this one.
Yeah.
But you definitely almost feel like someone put a camera in the cockpit
Yep.
and you're watching what that camera picked up. I mean,
Right.
in that sense. So,
Yeah.
very, very well achieved what they're trying to go about here, and strongly recommend.
Definitely. Highly recommend that one. It's streaming right on Amazon Prime. Definitely well worth a watch. It is so intense and just a great thriller. One of the best, honestly, that I've seen in a while. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend that one as well. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, another favorite actor who's I feel like is
Yeah.
kind of underrated still. I don't know why.
Yeah.
He's in a
Yeah.
lot of stuff. Is just like I feel like not
People
a lot
don't
of
know him
people talk
too.
about him.
You ask the
Yeah,
average person that name, they'll say, no, don't know who that guy
right,
is.
right. It's true. It's true.
It's too bad.
Yeah, it is. It is. Great. Well, switching gears, I'm going to a comedy. Um, and this is one of my all-time favorite comedies. I've seen this movie so many times. I've actually got it on in the background right now. I'm watching it as we're doing the podcast. It is Three Amigos.
Oh yeah.
Three Amigos to me is just so much fun because I'm such a Western fan. And I saw this when I was pretty young and I hadn't seen a lot of Westerns. And now I just appreciate it more the more Westerns I watch because it's so poking fun at every Western trope. From the classic, like I mean, it's cool because it all takes place in the silent era. These are actors in silent era films, is who these
Hmm.
these actors are playing. So in the early 10s, and so they're poking fun at silent movies a little bit. They're poking fun at spaghetti westerns, like with Clint Eastwood, and of course all the John Wayne stuff as well. And it gets so wacky, I mean, as the movie goes on, it gets so just bizarre. I mean, there's an invisible swordsman, there's talking animals, there's singing animals, there's all kinds of just bizarre stuff that goes on in this movie, but it
It's
all
a
just
musical.
works. Yeah, yeah, it is a musical, right? Because the silent era and the singing cowboy, the Roy Rogers of it all, they're poking fun at all the kind of different eras of the Western, which is really fun. And it came out in '86, at the height of SNL. and
Hmm.
Lorne Michaels produced this, and I think co-wrote it. And John Landis directs it, and he did a fantastic job. This is a couple years after he did Blues Brothers,
Oh,
and
huh.
man, just great. It's like I said, it's sort of in that classic vein of Seven Samurai. Galaxy Quest is basically this exact plot of these actors have to come into this place and really fight real bad guys that
That's
they don't really
true.
know it's
That's
bad
true. It's
guys.
funny.
And
Never
so
thought about that.
yeah, it's just a great premise. It's a great idea. And this one did it first. So this is one of my favorites. It's three actors that I so enjoy. I mean,
Yeah.
Chevy Chase, I grew up with him in Christmas Vacation, the vacation movies, and then Steve Martin and Martin Short are still working together. They've got Only Murders in the Building on, Hulu, and they've done so many great movies together, Father of the Bride, and many others that I like a
Yeah.
lot. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just hysterical from beginning to end. I'm laughing throughout this whole
Hmm.
movie. Some great moments, some great action in it too, and very catchy songs. Actually, I kind of like a lot of the
Yeah.
songs in it. They're kind of fun. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, definitely one of my favorite comedies ever. I've watched it so many times.
Oh, you stole that one from me. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
really?
so
Okay.
so many quotable lines from this one.
Hmm.
I'll tell you, I've thought before sitting in a Mexican restaurant, I've often thought of I wouldn't do it, but asking, "You got anything other than Mexican food?"
As he's
That's just one
in
of them, but
Mexico. I love that. Great.
yeah, so good. Good pick.
All right, Bert, you're on to your number 8 now.
Okay, you are not probably gonna love this one.
Oh,
This one is just a guilty pleasure. I'm going with 2012,
okay. I saw it behind you.
aka
I was like, is
yeah,
that there as a joke, or is he really going to pick
aka
that?
2012. Yeah, right. And funny enough, it didn't come out in 2012. It came out in
Right, oh nine. It's
2009.
like, hey, we've got a few years to prepare, folks.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And it's just such a fun disaster film. I think the CGI looks terrific with like huge masses of land and cities like falling
Sure.
apart and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I could really hate on this movie just like everybody could. I watch it more just for the fun popcorn munching nature of it.
Sure.
And it's got some actors I really like in John Cusack,
Hmm.
um, Woody Harrelson, Oliver Platt. Just some people that
Sure.
um, uh, help ground the film as much as it can because there is no ground because the whole earth is like moving.
Right.
But to me, I just think that it's just a sort of a joyride. And
Sure.
we talked about this film before, and I myself have pointed out the ridiculousness of like the plane taking off just as the ground is crumbling behind it.
Right.
It does it like three times in like 20 minutes or something
Yeah.
with the same people, mind you.
Right, right.
Uh, but it's just so much fun to me. I just enjoy the disaster, with epic proportions, nature about it.
Absolutely. I totally get that. No, it look, it has fun moments for sure. I like the visuals a lot too, actually. I think it does hold up pretty well. It's just the characters. I couldn't really stand them. Other than Woody
Oh,
Harrelson. Woody Harrelson, I
yeah,
actually love in this movie. I think his performance is so perfect. He knows
yeah,
what
yeah,
movie he's in. I feel like the other actors are
yeah.
trying to be in a serious drama, and he knows he's in a
Hmm.
ridiculous disaster movie, and it works
Yeah,
so well. So if it had
yeah, yeah.
focused more on him, maybe I would have probably given it higher ranks, but yeah, that one did not get high marks from me. The one time I watched it, maybe I should revisit it. I don't know. So
Low expectations. You might
yeah,
like it better.
exactly, and maybe I'll like it more this time. There you go. Okay, great. Well, just a couple left, and this next one, number 9 for me, is a romance film, and it's one of the best. It's one of the best sort of rom-com teen high school uh, comedy films I think ever made, and it came out in 1999. It's 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh,
Um, this movie I hadn't seen until I got married. It's one of my wife's all-time favorite films,
oh,
and she has good taste, I must say. This is a really, really good movie. It's a modern adaptation of Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew, and so it's a great story. It's a great kind of journey we go on with the characters. They have great arcs. It's very 1999, the fashion, the music. So that maybe dates it. To me, it kind of makes it timeless, though. Kind of like Back to the Future we've talked about before. It's like that movie's so 80s. It's kind of timeless. It's like anyone could watch it because you get it. It's in the 1980s. This is very much the same with the late
yeah.
90s. And so I really like this cast. Joseph Gordon-Levitt again. This is one
Oh,
of his early roles.
yeah, it would be. Yeah.
He's very young in this, and He plays a character named Cameron, so I can relate to him on that level. And then you've got the leads in Julia Stiles and Heath Ledger, who are both phenomenal. They play their characters so well. Their back and forth is so great. Their interactions, because they really can't stand each other at all
Oh,
when they meet each other, and then
oh,
kind of chaos ensues. And it's kind of an interesting, somewhat complex plot in that there's a lot of characters, and they all have different motivations, and they're all like, oh, you take her out on a date, so I can take her out on a date. And like, there's all these kind of, different motivations for people doing things. And it's really interesting, but you never get confused. It's one of
oh.
those easy to follow films, even though it's
Okay.
sort of a more complicated story. It's very, very easy to watch. Hilarious moments throughout. It looks really good. It's a good looking movie, and it's got a lot of just fun moments that stand out for me. So I really like this. It's got that kind of perfect mix of the funny stuff and the more serious, dramatic
Yeah.
relationship
Yeah.
stuff that really works well, and a great ending, a really, really good ending. So yeah, I highly recommend this, especially if you like 90s fashion and music. You'll get a lot of that in this one. And yeah, it's one we've rewatched watched it together many times. So I
Huh.
like this one a lot.
Okay. Nice. I like the actors in it.
Yeah, yeah. I think you'll enjoy this. You should. It's a good date night movie. You and the wife should check it out.
Okay.
All right, Bert, what do you have at number nine?
Ocean's 11, heist
Ah,
comedy.
that was really close to making my top 10.
Yeah, I was surprised it was still on there.
Hmm.
As I think back about it, I'm thinking maybe this should have been even higher. But
Yeah,
um, it, this movie, I would say, I wouldn't say I like it less as time goes on, but some of this, like I know it so well now that
right.
some of the lines don't quite hit as well.
Sure.
But yeah, just a great ensemble
Mm-hmm.
cast here, and everybody gets their moment. Like
Yeah,
you know, so many ways that this could be, one or two characters only, but
right.
everybody gets their time. Everybody's funny. It's a great plot. It's very snappy,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
so a great script, shot well. There's some beautiful scenes in it too.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
great cinematography,
Hmm.
and maybe one of the best Vegas movies.
Oh, yeah, I
Um,
would say so. It makes you want to go to Vegas. A lot of Vegas movies for me make you like want to stay away from Vegas. This one makes me go, "Ooh, I can't wait to spend time in Vegas."
Right, right. Andy Garcia is terrific
Ah, yes.
in his parts. You like him so little. I don't really like either of the two sequels that came after it, or
Mm,
three,
yeah.
or at least not nearly as much.
Yeah.
But this one, yeah, so funny
Mhm.
and just masterfully edited and created.
Yeah, Steven Soderbergh, he really nailed it with that one. This is one I rewatched because I was
Mm.
really considering this putting on my list, and it is so much fun to watch. Like you said, it has just a great energy to it. It's just
Yeah, yeah.
constantly moving, and yeah, to balance
The
that
music.
many characters is really difficult. But you get to know
Yeah,
each of them,
yeah.
and it's a really, really fun movie to watch.
Yeah, it's almost like it's almost like the opposite of a war film because during a war film, I'm usually thinking, "Oh, this is tough. I don't want to be here."
Right.
And in this movie, every scene you're like, "Oh, this is so much fun. I'm just
Right.
now we're doing this. Oh, that's hilarious."
Right. That's so true. Great pick. All right. Well, this is it, folks. This is rounding out our top tens. My number 10 pick is a classic Disney animated
Oh,
film
oh,
from 1961. It is my musical pick,
ah,
which is 101 Dalmatians.
oh,
This movie is, I like it more every time I watch it. It's one of those where it's like, it's so simple and it's so enjoyable.
hmm,
The music is so good. The Sherman Brothers, who wrote music for I think every Disney animated film up until like I
right,
don't know 70s or 80s at least. I know they did all the Mary Poppins stuff and all the big
yeah,
popular films when Walt was still living. They did the music for this, and it's got this great jazzy vibe. It's really, really catchy tunes that you could just sing over and over again. And so the music's great.
hmm,
It's of course family friendly. It's very wholesome, but it's also very funny. It's got a lot of funny moments in it that make me laugh. It's got some real drama too, though. That's what's interesting about it is it's not just a comedy. Like I feel like a lot of kids movies nowadays are just comedy. Like it's just they're just trying to make kids laugh all the time. Whereas this one actually has some real like you care about the characters. They're in danger. It's kind of scary a moment. Like Cruella de Vil is genuinely terrifying. You know, I mean she's really a
Yeah,
scary
yeah.
lady. She's still one of the best Disney villains, I think, and it's a great voice performance. But yeah, it's a great balance. It's a well balanced movie that I think is great for families to watch together. And it's a very family oriented film. And it's about these two dogs who have all these puppies, and then they have to go rescue them. And so it's a great film. The animation techniques a lot of people don't know. They were very innovative. They developed some new form of animation where they could copy. Um, Forget
Oh,
exactly what it's called, but it basically made it a lot more efficient for them to make this
yeah,
movie about
yeah.
101 characters, that you have to have on screen. And so this kind
Wow.
of saved the studio because Sleeping Beauty had come out just before this, and it was their most expensive film, and it
Oh,
didn't make a lot of money. So it
oh,
actually
really?
lost them money. Yeah, Sleeping Beauty
Huh,
lost the studio a lot of money. So they were kind of
huh.
in dire straits, and they were like, we need to come up with a
Wow.
simple film that's going to be, have mass appeal. And this was their movie, and that
With
was
the
kind of
dogs in it. Yeah,
exact.
yeah.
But let's put dogs. Everyone liked dogs, and so this was sort of the gamble though that they put out there, and yeah, this saved Disney, saved the entire studio, and allowed them to continue making movies. So it's a very important movie as far as Disney history goes. And yeah, just to me, it's still one of their best movies. Like I said, we watch it all the time,
Hmm.
and it's one of the few that I don't grow tired of, even though my children want to keep playing it over and over. I'm like, okay, as long as you put that one on, I'm fine. So yeah, 101 Dalmatians. That made my rounded out my top 10.
I've only ever seen bits and pieces of that one.
Okay. They did a live action one with Jeff Daniels. It's pretty good. Glenn
Yeah, I
Close
knew of that
played
film. Uh-huh.
played
Yeah.
Cruella de Vil. She did a great job. So yeah, it's a
Right.
solid remake actually.
Hmm.
All right, Bert, we're on to your 10th and final pick. What do you got?
And that I am going with 16 blocks.
Oh, yes. I'm so glad one of us had this. This was the closest to making it on my list.
Mm.
I was like that close to putting it in there because this is one of my all-time favorite Bruce Willis performances.
Not just Bruce Willis, Most Def.
Most Def as well.
I don't know his
Absolutely.
real name, but
Yeah.
maybe that is his real name.
I
But
don't know.
Most Def was just fantastic. He's
hmm
such a lovable character,
Yeah.
and it's one of these stories where people can change,
Yes.
um, and Bruce Willis too. This is a very unique performance for him, though he
Right.
could be John McClane here. This could be a Die Hard sequel,
It's Die
but
Hard
it's
on 16 blocks is what I call it. It's the sixth unofficial Die Hard film.
yeah, yeah. He basically becomes like a surrogate dad to
Yes.
Most Def, and it's so precious.
It
I
is.
can't believe I said it that way, but and I mean I don't it's how many years old, I guess I'll spoil it, but I mean he basically puts his own life on the line
Yeah.
for this guy who's a
Right.
criminal,
hmm
and he doesn't want to be Bruce Willis doesn't want to be the bad cop anymore,
Right.
and he
Right.
finally says, enough is enough, I'm not going to be
Yeah.
that person, and it's
Yeah.
really really hard for him to do that, and it leads
Right.
to a great action film.
It does.
I don't think there's any CGI in it,
That I know of.
and it's just a simple story executed
Mhm.
brilliantly, and I just think they really nailed the character work here, because you really care for both of these guys
Yeah,
immensely, and you want to see. It's got a great ending too.
it does.
So yeah, I watched this one again and couldn't believe I remembered liking it, but I couldn't believe I liked it this much.
Yeah.
It's really solid.
Yeah, it's another one of those that definitely has grown on me more and more. It's at 5 stars for me now, and it's like, man, it's just such a good movie. Richard Donner, it's his final film before he passed
Mm,
away. He
yeah,
directed that, and yeah, he nailed it. He nailed it. All the whole cast is great.
David Morse, he
David
can be
Morse, yeah,
scary.
he is in this movie very scary.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, great film. Excellent choice. Well, that's it for our top 10 movies with a number in the title. This was a fun, unique topic that we haven't covered before. Let's go over some honorable mentions. I mentioned a few already as kind of we were podcasting, but did you have any specific you wanted to bring up, Bert?
Yeah. One specifically, and this is another time where I did not go out and look to see if you liked this film. But where am I pointing? Right here.
Oh,
Fant Four Stick.
oh, all
I watched this
right.
again. I remembered liking it, and then after
Yeah.
that, I've seen a lot of hate, and I'm going, what am I missing? Like I had to rewatch this thing,
Yeah.
and actually I thought it was good. It's
Okay.
like it's pretty standard fare. Like it doesn't try to break any new ground really.
Sure.
I didn't like the fantastic or the one that came out 10 years before
Before
it.
that.
It
Yeah.
was too silly for me.
Sure.
But this one, I mean, it's pretty serious
Yeah.
and pretty good special effects and stuff. I don't,
Hmm.
I really don't get what all the hate is, other than it just kind of copies some other movies that have done it in the
Sure.
past.
Sure.
Your thoughts?
Um, there's too much to cover. I feel like, I mean, there's a lot here.
Really?
Yeah, because I actually like this more than some people,
Oh, okay.
especially
I'm
the
at, I'm
first
at,
half.
I'm at 3.5 stars. I mean, it's not
Okay,
like it was a 5-star film or anything,
sure.
but I'm going. It's not like it's now. If it was really bad acting or something, I
Yeah,
just don't see it. I don't
yeah.
understand.
No, the performances are great. The performances are great across the board. I like the direction. But what happened in this movie is almost a Zack Snyder Justice League situation where the director had a specific vision. He went in, executed it, and then they said the ending doesn't work. We've got to redo the ending. And so
Oh,
basically, I don't know if someone else came in or if he was forced to direct new
really?
scenes or what
Oh,
happened, but
oh,
basically in the movie there's that scene where they after they get their powers, which is like an hour into the movie.
yeah,
Which I
yeah,
love. I love that they build the characters. The first
yeah,
half is so good. And
yeah,
then they jump a year and they've all got their powers and they're in the government facility kind of
yeah, yeah.
using their powers. All from there on, basically, I think the movie falls apart. I don't
Mm.
really like the whole angle of their government agents and the whole way they did Doctor Doom. I just didn't really like. He's like
Yeah, it
kind of an
wasn't great.
angry
I mean, it was,
blogger, and then they're in the other dimension, and like I don't know.
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
a weird ending. That's really where it
yeah,
lost me.
yeah.
Up until that point, I really liked the movie.
Okay, okay,
But to me, it's just the ending that really, to me, just crashed and burned hard.
okay,
There's
okay.
there's some cool action. There's some like I said, the effects are pretty good, but
There's nothing
um,
epic. There's no epic scene in the movie,
right,
but
right.
but again, I just I went in thinking I guess I'll figure out what I was missing here, and I probably will hate it this time. And I'm like,
It's
what's
kind of
wrong with
fun.
this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not bad. I own it, so I mean, it's in the
Oh,
collection.
okay,
So
okay.
I've seen it, and there's a lot, like I said, a lot to like about it. But I just think there's a lot to not like too at the
Okay.
same time. So I'm like maybe 2 stars on it, 2.5 maybe.
Gotcha.
Let me mention a few of mine. I've got
Okay.
Air Force one of my favorite Harrison Ford action
Oh, I
films
forgot about Air Force One. That
with
would have been in my top 10
with Gary Oldman. I mean,
for
it's such a
sure.
great one.
Oh man.
3 Days of the Condor with Robert Redford from back in the 70s, a great conspiracy thriller. Around the World in 80 Days, another one from the 50s, a big kind of lavish production based on Jules Verne's work, one of my favorite authors. 2001: A Space Odyssey, I rewatched, and I continue to think that that movie gets better every time. I couldn't stand it the first time I watched it. I thought it was awful.
Oh.
And now I'm at like 5 stars. I think it's a masterpiece. Big Hero 6 is another family favorite. Great kind of
Yeah,
animated
that's a good one.
superhero
Hmm.
movie. Rewatched Ready Player One from Steven
Oh,
Spielberg. That movie rocks.
it's a good one.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I
yeah.
really like that movie. Super 8, I also rewatched J.J. Abrams' film.
Oh, I
I
didn't really
think,
like that one too
oh
much.
really? See, I like that
No.
one a lot. District 9, I mentioned.
Oh
10
yeah.
Cloverfield
Yep.
Lane. Those are
Yep.
both
That's
great.
both.
12 Monkeys.
Hmm.
Um, uh, let's see here. It Happened One Night is a great classic rom-com. The Four Feathers is another great war movie. Sinbad and the Legend of the Seven Seas,
Oh.
I like with Brad Pitt as Sinbad is fun. And then 42, I thought was great. The Jackie
Oh
Robinson
yeah.
film.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that was a really great biopic. And then most recently, as I mentioned up top, F1 and 28 Years Later. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I
28 Years
wondered if
Later.
those were gonna be in your top 10, but they didn't make
Yeah,
it.
I mean they're again, I feel like they're too recent, recency bias, I feel like.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
I decided
maybe.
to
Yeah.
exclude those, but they rank very high for me this year. If you're a zombie movie fan, 28 Years
Yeah.
Later will not disappoint. And then F1, if you like Top Gun Maverick or anything Joseph Kosinski has done, Oblivion or Tron Legacy, you're going to get a kick out of F1. It's fantastic. So, anything else
Yeah, I
from
got
you?
yeah, a couple I'll mention here. I Am Number Four. I like that a lot.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty
A whole
good.
lot, actually. Yeah, The Next 3 Days,
Oh,
Russell
I
Crowe film.
didn't see that one.
Oh, okay. Ones we didn't talk about, I'm just looking at here.
Hmm.
Um, Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah.
The one other one I want to mention is a creative one, and that's Megan. because they actually used the number 3 instead of a G
Instead
in the
of
title.
E, I think. Yeah.
Or
Right.
yeah, it's one of those. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, that's
So
smart. I like that.
and it's a guilty pleasure, but you know how much I like that one, so
Right.
that one maybe technically counts.
Are you going to see 2.0?
Oh man, not in the theater. It
Okay.
looks like it might be really horrible.
Yeah, the trailer's not great.
No,
Yeah.
no, far
Yeah.
different than the first trailer
Right,
from the first
right.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah, interesting. Great. Well, this was a lot of fun. There's again, we could talk all day. There's so many movies with numbers in the
yeah.
title.
There's yeah.
But yeah, I think these are good picks. Let us know your picks. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, tell us in the comments your top 10 movies with numbers in the title, and we'll be happy to have a conversation with you about that. Check out our reactions to F1, to 28 Years Later. Also, Elio. We just saw Elio. Man, that movie blew me away. It was so much fun. A great family film. If you're looking for something fun to do in the summer, it's hot out there, folks. Get inside a movie theater, cool off, and watch a great movie. Elio is great for the whole family. And so, yeah, I think that's it. Bert, thanks again for joining me. This was a ton of fun.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. It was.
All right, make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified of all our videos, and we will see you next time right here on The Real World.